So this is pretty big. There's been little tiptoes up to this point where you had major studios looking to get into digital media, looking to buy out these managed content networks. Now, what's a managed content network? They are YouTube channels like Machinima, like Maker Studios, who runs Polaris, which is a popular one. What they do is they manage YouTube partners, people that have YouTube channels. So what that means is usually the ad revenue is split between the managed content network and the video producer. So it's usually whatever it is, 50-50, 60-40. I've seen in the past there were awful ones by certain MCNs would give you like an awful split or pay you a flat rate CPM or cost per thousand that you get per video. So a managed content network in theory, or what it can do, is it can bring together people to collaborate. It can market and push you. There's a reason why a lot of these guys in these networks have a ton of followers. Is because there's money behind it, so that when you click on a video, on the right sidebar, you'll see like recommended channels, and you'll see the same people over and over again on whatever. That's why PewDiePie, that's one of the reasons why PewDiePie is so big. It's not all coincidence. It's not all talent. I'm not saying these people aren't talented, but that's not the only reason why these people have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. That's a part of it.
So these things are like TV channels, basically, where they gather up other content makers and put them under one name and try to sort of curate a theme or a type of content.
It could be a theme. It could be. So, for example, Polaris is mostly video game reviews and Let's Plays, and they have Game Grumps with Egoraptor. So it's sort of like that's what their concentration of media is. There are other MCMs that are stuff for like fashion or you know, maybe music videos. You know, there's a bunch of them out there that are just different themed. But the ones that we know about the most are video game related ones, because those are the biggest ones by and large. That's the audience on YouTube. It's the teenagers, it's the 20-year-olds, and they love video games. That's why video games is like the biggest industry there is now.
Right. You
know, it's bigger than porn, probably. It's bigger than the movie business at this point, video games. You know, so that's where that is. So this one was kind of a shocker, though, because Disney wants to get in, I guess, to the digital media market in a big way. So they purchased Maker Studios, who, like I said, they run Polaris, which is one that a lot of you guys know with Game Grumps, ProJared, and the like. They acquired them for at least $500 million. And
then there's another $400 million
impossible bonus
based on performance, which is going to be interesting for when we get to the next topic. But it makes sense that they're doing this. It's interesting to see it happen so quickly, but you know, you can't deny that YouTube and what's the actual term they use, short form video making or whatever, is becoming a hugely popular thing. Disney has always been good about media presence. They've always made sure they've had their hand in all sorts of media. Sometimes it works out better than others, but to me it actually makes sense that Disney would go I don't know about everyone else buying them up, but Disney trying to get their hands in it, I get that. I guess I should have seen that coming.
Well, the question is now, though, what is Disney going to use this new media arm for? This is like something that obviously, off the start, you know, it's easier to buy a company out versus creating your own from the ground up. Obviously, Maker has millions and millions and millions of subscribers already built into their various networks that they have set up. So they already have that potential outreach. Obviously, Maker already has a relationship with Google. That's there. So the question, though, is that what's Disney's main interest? Do they want that subscriber base to directly market their new movies? Remember, they bought Star Wars out for a ton of money, for billions. So does that mean they're going to then use that to help market to the young kids using like that subscriber base, or just put their own new shows onto Polaris, for example, and then market that way? Use existing talent, which gets dicey because it's not like the talent is shored up for hugely long periods of time. You know, so it's not like if Disney thought that they acquired Maker and that they own JonTron, they don't.
Right.
JonTron is connected to Polaris and Maker, but his contract's not long term. He could split and go somewhere else. So it's not clear what's going to happen here.
I feel like that the purchase was more of purchasing a template. Granted, a successful template. Now they're purchasing a template and they're purchasing a viewer base that they can then mold into whatever they need. So like you said, immediately if they wanted to start doing advertising or, you know, getting a promotion out for new films or new movies, they already have people who are going to see this stuff come up in their feeds. They're just going to have more eyes on it naturally. I think whatever they decide to do with it, I mean, honestly, they may just buy it and let it sit for a while and make some money off of it. You know, I mean,
if it's profitable.
If it's profitable, or they may, you know, slowly start to shoehorn more Disney stuff into it. But I think Disney might just let it ride. The only thing I can compare it to is when they bought out Marvel, and Marvel has been acting pretty much independent of Disney.
Sure.
You know, now, I mean, who knows what's going on in the background, but the face of Marvel doesn't seem that different. So the face of Maker...
But that was a licensed property. This is not a licensed property.
No, well, that's true.
This is a new media market that they basically are purchasing, at least a chunk of it that they're purchasing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they could be buying a template, right? So they already have the infrastructure there, and then they can move it and start doing their own things.
Doing their own shows on the networks and using that built-in audience.
But it wouldn't surprise me if they left it alone for a few years, too.
I honestly, I wouldn't see that happening. I mean, leaving something alone that they invested $500 million on, that seems like that's a lot of money to put in something they're not going to touch. You know.
No, I mean, that's a good point.
And plus, Disney doesn't play small potatoes. They're not going to spend $500 million on Maker to sit back and maybe have it make, I don't know, $5 million profit a year, $3 million profit. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
they're going to use it. It's just, I'm just thinking of what they're going to do with it. You know what I mean? Like, how a year from now, are you going to have the same number of channels? Is it going to be halved? Are you going to have over the top branding on people's channel? Are you going to have Angry Joe and Mickey Mouse ears talking about the latest movie? Like that's a mystery. And it's interesting because it's like a new frontier that they're getting into without Disney. Disney doesn't make stupid investments. That's the thing. By and large, they haven't. Pixar was a fantastic investment.
Yeah.
Marvel, fantastic. Star Wars is going to pay money hand over fist already.
Right.
I mean, has there been a bad one the past 5-10 years? They own the Muppets. That's pretty good, right?
I mean, I guess I see them using it as, like I said, they can use it as a mouthpiece in a way to, keep people informed on what they're doing. I think that we might end up seeing some shows on YouTube, especially they do a lot of, like teen programming and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I could totally see that being something that would get put through Maker.
Mickey Mouse Club on YouTube?
Yeah, that sort of deal. And put on YouTube because we're moving away from people who sit down in front of TVs to watch things, and we're already watching things on the internet most of the time. So I could see Disney, I guess, using Maker as a way to target that teen audience that is already watching most of their video content on YouTube.
It's going to be fascinating, just because, I mean, I hate to say it, no sort of acquisition or merger in the history of the world has ever resulted in more jobs. Usually,
yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just the way it works. I'm not speaking out of turn when I say that. I've been involved with companies that have bought other companies or been bought, and people get axed. People are gone. It's just a matter of when that happens, because they figure out there's redundancies, or we want our own people here instead of what's there. You know what I mean? It's just the way it works, especially if they acquired a company and if they don't think it's making enough profit or it's losing money, that's going to change right away. They're not going to let it, like you said, I don't think they let it sit for a couple of years if it's not performing to their standards.
Yeah, I guess what I mean by sit is I don't know if they're going to have a hard idea of what they're doing with it for
$500 million. I think they'd have a good, you would think,
Yeah.
So I mean, there was a couple of little quotes put out about it. But it's not really specific. It did say it was 5 months and was a deliberate process. So this was thought out. This wasn't spur of the moment, sort of thing.
Well, no, that sort of acquisition isn't. I guess I don't know if they've got to have some sort of plan going in. I just wonder how quickly it's going to be enacted.
Maker Studios will report to Disney Chief Financial Officer Jay Rasulo. This is from Variety. It will be still based in Culver City, California, with operations in New York and London. In quotes, Disney is synonymous with the best entertainment and is the ideal partner for us, strengthening our position as the leading player in online video. Ynon Kreiz, exec chairman and CEO of Maker Studios, said in a statement. It'd be interesting to hear what Disney had to say, though, because Disney's the one that's going to control what's going to happen.
Well, I guess that's the thing. With all the reports that are out, I mean, we haven't really heard anything on their intent.
Yeah. So this might lead to other big studios getting into it. I think Warner Brothers has dabbled in it, and they don't think they bought out someone, but they think they have money in one of these managed content networks. So maybe this will be a trend that starts to sort of go downhill as the next sort of media market that's really exploded the past really 5 years. 2008, 2009 is when YouTube really started taking off. 2007, if you want to go back that far. Yeah, people. Another in Forbes, how Disney ultimately uses Maker remains to be seen. It says the Mouse House could use the business to push its more, quote, tween-focused properties, or use Maker as a kind of farm team to find new talent.
Okay, so I guess that's what I'm thinking. I think that's because so many, like I said before, so many younger kids, so many teenagers and tweens are already watching all their stuff online anyways. It would make a perfect venue for their shows like, I don't know, Hannah Montana and Lizzie McGuire, the last two that I can remember. But yeah, I mean, I think that's where you might see some of that stuff pushed out in smaller, more bite-sized chunks as opposed to the usual half-hour format. You might get like some 10-minute episode type stuff.
Disney's press release just said Disney will gain advanced technology and business intelligence capability regarding consumers' discovery and interaction with short-form online videos, including Disney content.
That sounds like an upgrade in civilization. We've gained advanced technology.
And it's massive marketing research, so they're going to be able to see the demographics of who's watching all their content.
I was making a joke.
I know. But I'm saying it's going to remain to be seen. It's very interesting. And yeah, this Forbes article is postulating about other, again, like I just said, other big companies maybe quote unquote kicking the tires of these networks to see maybe they could buy one out and use it the same way Disney is. But this is a big one, and it's between $500 million and $1 billion.